The Anointed Ones, welcome. They thought they could use your name as a tool, a gimmick, a shortcut to power. They spoke it without understanding its weight, invoked it without grasping its force. But the universe does not tolerate ignorance. And now, the very name they tried to exploit has become their undoing. They wanted to ride on your legacy, twist your essence to fit their narrative. But instead, they triggered a reality they were never prepared to face. The weight of your name is not one that can be carried by the unworthy. It does not grant power to pretenders. It does not bow to manipulation. Now the consequences unfold. The cosmic balance has shifted. The same voices that once sought to diminish you are now silenced under the crushing weight of their own arrogance. They are drowning in the chaos they created, suffocating under the magnitude of their mistake. Because when you name something after a force beyond comprehension, you either honor it or you are consumed by it. And you are the chosen one. Your name was never theirs to wield. And now, they finally understand why. Don't be misled. This isn't luck or a coincidence. This is the might of 1,000 suns, divine order making its presence known. They summoned powers beyond their understanding, forces that had been waiting and watching as they said your name. Do you believe that the fact that everyone who attempted to discredit you is now frantically trying to save what little reputation they have left is an accident? Rethink your thought. The selected ones, yes, you are one of them. Move beneath a shield so strong that most others aren't even aware of it. Your foe's worst mistake is to misinterpret this unseen barrier for weakness. Truth just waits. It doesn't need defenders. It waits for deceivers to stumble over their own tangled webs, and for falsehoods to exhaust themselves. Those who conspired against you believed they were responsible for your demise, but in reality, they were responsible for their own demise. There are no errors in the cosmos. They welcomed your power into their sphere of influence when they said your name. They called forth something they were not prepared to deal with. Now, see how, with chilling accuracy, whatever they attempted to do to you comes back to them. Someone has been on a warpath, moving with the dexterity of a serpent, spreading falsehoods to destroy you, and speaking poison about you. This is the sicko who grins while stabbing you in the back, the manipulator who so expertly distorts reality that others begin to doubt their own perceptions of you. They were planned. They strike you in the tender spot. They targeted your ethics, reputation, and core self. They made fun of you while pretending it was just a joke, using humor as a weapon and sarcasm as a shield. Cowards conceal themselves behind such strategies when faced. What they didn't anticipate, however, is that truth is a natural force. Even if a river is temporarily dammed, water will ultimately find a way through. In an attempt to separate you and force others to see you through their skewed perspective, they erected walls of deceit around you. However, what happens if you erect barriers to prevent a tsunami? The rubble that crushes you is those same walls. Now watch as their whole endeavor backfires with devastating intensity. Everyone they mobilize to against you is seeing how deceptive they are. Their intentions are being questioned by every ally they believed they had gained. They are pointing back at their own hearts with the identical weapons they made to harm you. This is cosmic justice playing out in real time, not just karma. The cosmos itself becomes your ally when you stand in your truth and someone else acts in falsehood. Regardless of how cunning the deceiver believes they are, the spiritual order cannot be reversed. They now have a chain around their neck from every word they spoke against you. Each lie they have said has turned into a burden, pulling them into the pit they attempted to drag you into. The current state of affairs cannot be adequately described by poetic justice. The hidden is coming to light. The light is flooding into the darkness in which they function. There is a leak of messages. People are sharing screenshots. What they formerly believed to be private conversations are suddenly being made public. On a scale they never expected, Their duplicitous character is being revealed. They made an effort to portray you as the problematic, challenging, dramatic, and poisonous one. However, they just provided the glass for others to finally see them properly. They unintentionally highlighted their own obvious shortcomings in an effort to draw attention to your alleged shortcomings. The projection is now recognized for what it was. The forces at play were underestimated by them. They believed this to be a straightforward human drama, but they were really setting off long-standing justice systems that function outside of our dimension. These forces have been maintaining equilibrium since the beginning of time and cannot be negotiated, controlled, or avoided. They persuaded some people to question you, and now they are doubting them. The truth is now being heard by the same ears they used to speak falsehoods. Now, the land they believe to be theirs is eroding under them. When you tamper with someone who is purpose-driven and who maintains integrity, even when it's the more difficult way, this is what occurs. A former Black Ops drone pilot who piloted swarms with his thoughts, a multimillionaire psychic CFO who foresaw market swings before they occurred, and a trained occultist who fled from a satanic coven are just a few of the people I want to take a time to tell you about. What is the connection between these extraordinary people? On our secret Discord server, they share their prohibited knowledge, and you may find them all in the Obsidian Inner Order. Aeon after aeon, my chosen soul has drank deeply from the spring of wisdom. These remarkable people joined me in the Obsidian Inner Order during this existence. The call was familiar to them. They moved onward. They made connections with others who are aware of their special talents and challenges. What is preventing you from experiencing the same manifestation? Neither your finding of this message nor the synchronicity that led them here were by chance. The Archons pay attention when souls of this kind come together. They are afraid of our combined might. They are aware of what occurs when people who are genuinely awakened come across one another. Listen to their tales directly. Join our weekly calls and share your own journey with people who won't discount or question you. Nowhere else on this level can we get the information that is shared via our private channels. In the description below, click the link right now. The remarkable individuals are waiting for you. How long will you wait to assert your position among them? That is the question, not whether you belong there. They are triggered by your very presence. Did you notice? The very mention of your name triggers a frightening, primordial reaction in them. That's because they can't stand to gaze into the mirror of your genuineness. Their shadows are exposed by your light. Your honesty exposes their dishonesty. Through character assassination and rumor, some people attempted to extinguish your light. They said your name with disdain, scorn, and resentment cloaked in compassion. Just looking out for everyone is how they presented their ruthless targeting of you. However, their sole concern was their own brittle ego and their urgent need to seem better than others. They believed they could influence how other people saw you. How conceited! What an illusion! To believe that their poison story might trump someone's own knowledge of you. To think that their statements would be taken more seriously than what you did. However, divine timing had other ideas. Their pitiful efforts at character assassination cannot conceal the strength inside you. You exude a frequency that appeals directly to other people's intuitions and avoids logical skepticism. Lies may momentarily perplex others, but they will sense your genuineness on a deep level. Cognitive dissonance is now being experienced by people who were swayed by these cunning liars. The person they are meeting is quite different from the one they described. When seen up close, the monster they painted seems remarkably similar to an angel. Their credibility is crumbling before everyone's eyes as the story continues to come apart. They are being choked by the weight of their own falsehoods. They are now drowning in the fallout from their dishonesty. They wake up every morning wondering what will be revealed today, who will be the next to turn against me, and how long I can maintain this facade. They are losing credibility. Even their most basic assertions are now viewed with suspicion, when formerly their word was believed to be infallible. Eventually, the youngster who cried wolf learned that no one trusts a confirmed liar, even if they are expressing the truth. The harshest method conceivable is being used to teach them this lesson. People who formerly supported them in their campaign against you and who once believed them are now doubting everything. What else have they lied about if they lied about this? Doubt consumes all they've created, spreading like wildfire. They are seeing the depletion of their social capital. The same audience that they performed for, the same public that gave them the right to criticize you, is now a jury watching them fail. They are now being abandoned by the same individuals they tried to win their favor. For manipulators who rely on attention and approval to exist, abandonment is a unique kind of torment. Observe their hasty efforts to contain the damage. Observe their pathetic attempts to change the story. That's not what happened. My words are being taken out of context. This is all a misunderstanding. These are pathetic justifications from someone who never showed you any mercy and who didn't give you any leeway when they were fabricating false information about you. You knew what was going on. You saw the energy trap they were creating, the never-ending drama intended to keep you interested, motivated to protect yourself, and to satisfy their desire for confrontation. What did you do, too? You took the most decisive action of all by leaving. You decided to protect yourself, rather than try to deal with their disarray. You allow your character to speak for itself, rather than attempting to persuade people of your innocence. You took the oxygen out of their flames, rather than battling fire with fire, the pinnacle of strategic spiritual warfare. They are now left fumbling, starved for your energy and pleading for your response. They communicate by connecting with each other. They say things in public that they know you will find out about. They set up scenarios that are intended to elicit a reaction from you. However, they just get silence. They only hear the thunderous rumble of your absence. You don't have to prove anything to anybody anymore. As you anticipated, the truth is coming to light on its own. You're concentrating on your development, your tranquility, and your purpose while others spend all of their energy attempting to uphold their falsehoods. There is no greater contrast. You being your true self, while they are desperately attempting to manipulate impressions. This is detachment's power. Knowing who you are beyond what other people think of you gives you this power. They were mistaken to believe that your absence was a sign of weakness. For someone who thrives on drama and response, it was the most dangerous thing you could do. You didn't simply win the game. You didn't even want to play it. At this point, the spiritual order is self-correcting. Those who experimented with fire are suffering irreparable burns. Its fangs are being discovered by those who danced with darkness. The people who used your name as a weapon are learning that words are like boomerangs, constantly coming back to their origin. Every false statement made against you is reverberating with compound interest. The falsehoods they spread, they are now living them. The seclusion they attempted to instill in you, it's happening to them. The harm they tried to do to their reputation, it's becoming their new persona. The universe has an excellent accounting system and a perfect memory. Now, those who attempted to control the truth are being forced to confront it in its most raw form. There will be no more concealing, no more twisting, and no more narrative control. Just unadulterated, unedited truth shattering their meticulously crafted delusions. Truth is more terrible than any monster to someone who has lived in falsehood. Divine justice cannot be avoided. They are able to flee, but where? They can conceal themselves, but why? The reckoning is coming from inside, not from the outside. It's there in every restless night, every obsessive thought, and the increasing recognition that they've unleashed unstoppable forces and unavoidable consequences. There is an inherent reward or penalty for every activity. This is about balance, not about getting even. This has to do with the basic rules of reality making their presence known. Unaware that they reside in a glass-only home, they flung a stone at your name. At this point, their only option is to see the fissures spreading in all directions. They tried to bring you down because they were afraid of you. Take a moment to process it. Their discomfort was caused by the brightness of your light. Your genuineness was so evident that even they could see how false you were. Their worst fears were aroused by your obvious authority. In this equation, you were never the little one. They now feel a great deal of remorse. At night, it rests like a stone on their chest. Like a shadow, it follows them around all day. I said their name, but why? Why did I confront someone who was obviously shielded by invisible powers? Regret doesn't alter the fact that they didn't comprehend. The instant they talked maliciously against you, their destiny was set. While they are preoccupied with damage management, your ascent goes on, unfazed and unstoppable. While they're drowning in repercussions, you're pursuing new aspects of your mission. They can't even comprehend the heights you're reaching. With every day that goes by, the difference becomes more pronounced. Your rise to power, their decline to insignificance. Continue to advance with confidence and strength. The assaults on you were proof of your importance, not a coincidence. Opposition does not arise from inconsequential individuals. People without power don't make other people feel insecure. Those who dread what they stand for do not seek average souls. The triumph of truth has already been achieved, and you are living evidence of it. Every effort to minimize you has only served to emphasize how important you are. Your truth has been highlighted by every falsehood that has been uttered about you. All of the attacks that have been made against you have just shown how resilient you are. They cannot reverse the harm they have caused to themselves. Once destroyed, trust is difficult to rebuild. When credibility is damaged, the damage is irreversible. A damaged reputation casts a lasting shadow. They are now becoming aware of this, as their statements are greeted with sidelong looks rather than approval, as allies grow rare, and as erstwhile pals withdraw themselves. You can feel their desperation growing. See how they attempt ever more drastic means to recover what they have lost. See how they invent fresh plots, antagonists, and diversions, anything to divert attention away from their obvious dishonesty. However, it's too late. It is impossible to hide the mask after it is dropped. Some people have already begun contacting you in an attempt to gauge if a reconciliation is feasible. It was all a misunderstanding. Things got out of hand. We should clear the air. Hilarious. As if easy justifications could erase such a massive act of treachery. As if after such deliberate efforts to ruin you, trust could be restored. Others are attempting to change history by asserting that they were also duped and presenting themselves as fellow victims rather than voluntarily taking part in the effort to harm you. Though predicted, the cowardice is breathtaking. When repercussions occur, nobody likes to take responsibility for their actions. However, the universe maintains flawless records. Once intentions are put in action, their energy cannot be erased. The causal chain they have started cannot be altered. Their current sense of remorse is just the start of a protracted process of dealing with the fallout from their decisions. Your vindication was predestined, inscribed in the stars long before they ever said your name, maliciously, and embedded in the very fabric of existence that guarantees that equilibrium will always be restored. It is not simply occurring. These cosmic forces were too strong for them. You are also being vindicated by those who supported you and never questioned you, even when the falsehoods were most blatant. They are being validated for their discernment. They are being rewarded for their commitment. Their decision to believe in you was the right one, and they are now receiving confirmation of that decision in ways that increase their confidence in their own instincts. The same individuals who earlier viewed you with distrust are now seeing you through fresh eyes that are able to distinguish between the statements made about you and your true self. They start to doubt their own judgment because of how obvious the gap is. Your name, which was formerly muttered with disdain in certain quarters, is now spoken with a new energy, sometimes awe, sometimes dread, and never again with careless indifference. How did I fall for those lies? The truth was right in front of me all along. They have discovered the hard way that your name matters, and that using it carelessly might have unanticipated repercussions. Redistributing energy is the goal of this vindication. Not only correcting the record, it's about putting power back where it belongs. It has to do with the restoration of the natural order after a brief disturbance. The cosmos has always and will continue to rectify itself, not only with you, but with everyone they come into contact with. The lesson they are now learning will follow them around for the rest of their lives. They now understand that invisible forces are at play, that certain people are protected, and that karma is a live, breathing system that precisely balances all accounts. Your name will appear in their head as a warning each time they think about saying anything negative about someone else. The memory of their demise after bringing you up will stifle them whenever they feel the need to twist the facts. You've evolved into their particular mythology's incarnation of repercussions. Some people who see them fail are taking the lesson from them. Never criticize someone whose light is so brilliant. Use caution while bringing up someone's name in a bad light. Some individuals act so defensively that it would be spiritual suicide to criticize them. Your predicament has turned into a warning. The lesson is not limited to them. It applies to everyone who took part, who spread their falsehoods, and who enjoyed your alleged demise. Each of them is dealing with repercussions that are specific to their degree of engagement. Divine justice is tailored, not merely comprehensive.